Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said on Wednesday that she and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney had agreed to strengthen trade collaboration, particularly in light of the tariffs from U.S. President Donald Trump, set to go into effect on August 1st.
In recent developments, North America's trade network is undergoing a significant transformation. In a strategic move, Mexico and Canada have introduced a groundbreaking $120 billion trade corridor designed to circumvent U.S. tariffs on key products like steel, auto parts, and lithium batteries. This initiative has been propelled by the U.S. government's tariff threats, especially under President Trump's proposed 30% tariff hike on imports from Mexico and Canada, set to begin on August 1st, 2025. What began as a reaction to U.S. trade policies has quickly evolved into a full-scale trade alliance between Mexico and Canada. The two nations, once competitors in the global market, are now collaborating to protect their industries and secure more favorable trade terms. The partnership has already set plans into motion for an innovative northern corridor that will bypass U.S. ports and tariffs entirely, signaling a shift that could fundamentally alter the North American supply chain. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more updates and content. We've got plenty more coming your way. The catalyst: U.S. tariffs unleash trade realignment. The trigger for this major shift came on July 12, 2025, when President Trump announced his plan to impose a hefty 30% tariff on key imports from Mexico and Canada, specifically targeting steel, auto parts, and copper. This move threatened to disrupt critical supply chains that have historically linked the U.S. to its neighboring trade partners. Mexico and Canada, instead of backing down, quickly mobilized in response. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney began to craft a bold counter-strategy designed to protect their economic interests while maintaining strong trade ties under the USMCA framework. At the heart of this strategy is a new multi-lane trade corridor that links Mexico and Canada more closely, minimizing U.S. involvement and bypassing American ports. This corridor is not just about logistics. It's a well-coordinated strategic shift, leveraging industrial investments and a shared commitment to modern infrastructure. By turning competitors into collaborators, Mexico and Canada have laid the groundwork for a trade system that could weaken the U.S.'s position as the central hub of North American commerce. Corridor mechanics: a high-tech trade network. The newly proposed trade corridor is more than just a series of rail lines and sea routes. It's a technological and logistical marvel. The first key feature is the Pacific Short Link, a railway that directly connects Mexico's lithium and electric vehicle subcomponent hubs in Monterrey and Sonora to Canada's Prince Rupert Terminal. This route avoids U.S. railroads and tolls, creating a smooth, cost-efficient path for vital raw materials like lithium, a key component in electric vehicle (EV) batteries. Next, the Great Lakes Flow Ring will facilitate the movement of Canadian raw materials, like nickel sulfate and steel, which will be rerouted to Mexico via offshore logistics systems. These goods will bypass U.S. ports, saving time and money, and enter Mexico as tariff-exempt products. As a result, U.S. inland cargo traffic could see a 27% drop, with cities like Chicago and Buffalo potentially facing significant losses in dock activity. On the digital front, Canada and Mexico are creating a cross-border smart customs system, which uses blockchain technology to streamline border procedures. Freight can be electronically cleared before it even reaches the ship or train, eliminating the need for inspections and reducing the reliance on U.S. customs. The loss in U.S. border processing revenue could be substantial, estimated at $3.5 billion annually. Impact on U.S. manufacturing. Detroit's struggles. One of the most significant impacts of this new corridor will be felt in Detroit, the heart of U.S. auto manufacturing. As the trade corridor bypasses U.S. ports, the auto industry, which relies heavily on components like lithium batteries and raw materials from Mexico and Canada, will face major disruptions. Detroit's assembly lines, particularly those for electric vehicles, EVs, will be hit hard. By 2026, this trade realignment could lead to a loss of 360,000 EVs produced annually in Detroit, resulting in the loss of 108,000 jobs and a $12.7 billion lost hit to the region's economy. The economic fallout will not be confined to Detroit alone. Manufacturers across the Midwest, from suppliers to freight brokers, will experience a ripple effect. Entire sectors within the U.S. automotive and manufacturing industries are poised to lose out as Mexico and Canada's efficient new supply chains offer cheaper and more streamlined alternatives. Clean energy and carbon credits. A green trade advantage. While the trade corridor's logistics and economic impact dominate headlines, there's also a surprising environmental advantage. Canada and Mexico have agreed to a deal that will allow Canada to export 5 million tons of LNG annually to Mexico, a major shift from its previous exports to California. This change will provide Mexico with a stable supply of energy while leaving California to face rising electricity costs, potentially adding $3.1 billion annually to the state's electricity bill. The real long-term benefit, however, lies in the corridor's alignment with global clean energy standards, Canada's low-emission steel production, and Mexico's advanced lithium battery technologies align with the European Union's stringent climate regulations. As the EU plans to introduce carbon border adjustments, Canada and Mexico stand to benefit from this alignment, gaining cleaner certifications and potentially avoiding certain tariffs on their exports to Europe. This green trade alliance could turn the Northern Corridor into a key player in the global transition to clean energy. Political and economic leverage, a new trade normal. As this trade corridor gains momentum, both Mexico and Canada are making significant financial commitments to bring it to life. Canada's Export Development Bank and Mexico's Bank of Maxt have pledged billions of dollars to fund the project. With shipments expected to begin within 6 months, the corridor is poised to become a permanent fixture in North American trade, reshaping supply chains and challenging U.S. dominance. Even if the U.S. were to reverse its tariffs, it may be too late to reclaim its central role in the region's trade network. The path dependency of businesses that have already switched to the new corridor makes it difficult to revert to the old system. The corridor offers faster, cheaper, and greener options, making it the preferred route for many industries. Conclusion: a structural shift in North American trade. The Northern Corridor between Mexico and Canada represents more than just a workaround to U.S. trade policies. It signals a fundamental restructuring of North America's economic and trade systems. With billions in potential losses for the U.S. economy, particularly in the Midwest, the rise of this trade alliance marks the beginning of a new trade order in North America. Whether the U.S. adjusts its policies or clings to outdated trade tactics remains to be seen. But one thing is clear: the trade map of North America is changing, and it may never be the same again. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more updates and content. We've got plenty more coming your way.